I thought I'd make a video this morning. We got our light fixed in the dining room, so I can sit here in on the dining room table and I can make videos. It is 10:04 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. It is July the 19th, 2016. It's 79 degrees inside my cell. Been writing in my diary this morning, July the 19th, 2016. I'm on page 612 in my 2016 personal diary. I've been keeping a diary since 1968. I only have from the year 1978 until now. When I left California back in 1977, I burned my diaries. I was living in Richmond, California. I was born in Oakland, California in 1952, but I've lived all over the United States, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Oregon, California, Texas, Mississippi. But I was born in Oakland in 1952. But when I left to go to Bible college here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, I was living in Richmond, California at that time. And before I left, I burned my bridges and I destroyed my earlier diaries, which was a very dumb thing. But when you're young, you do dumb things. So all the diaries I have is from about 1978 until July the 17th, 2016. So I have about 38 years of diaries, and I have written every single day for 38 years. I'm a writer. I'm a diary writer. So anyway, I mentioned in my last video that I got some books at a thrift store yesterday, and I said I didn't have them with me because they were down in the lower level, which we keep the library is our main library. There's books up here in the dining room, in the a bedroom, in the living room, in my study. There's books all over the house. Our house is a library because we are book lovers. But I mentioned that when I was yesterday, I went to I went to Goodwill. Well, I went to Bibles to Mexico, and I went to Goodwill, and I found, as I mentioned, I found this book. I found Lenny Bruce, How to Talk Dirty and Influence People. This is his autobiography. It was published by Playboy Press, and I wanted to show that I have a biography on Lenny Bruce. I got this years ago. A local professor at Hope College here in Holland, he died, and he had a house full of books, and it was open to the public, and I bought this years ago. This is called Lenny Bruce by Albert Goldman. Ladies and gentlemen, Lenny Bruce. So yeah, there's a picture of Lenny Bruce. This is really old. It smells. And I also have The Essential Lenny Bruce, edited by John Cohen. There's a picture of Lenny Bruce. I also have this box set called Howl's Raps and Roars, including recordings from the San Francisco Poetry Renaissance. And here on CD 1, Lenny Bruce. There's recordings of Lenny Bruce. He was a famous satirist, a comedian. He was a figure in this came out in 1972. So yeah, this is his autobiography. Also, when I got out The Essential Lenny Bruce, on top of it was this classic Candy, a novel by Terry Sutherland and Mason Hoffenberg. This was came out in 1964. It was a kind of classic of the 60s, Candy by Terry Sutherland. It says here, I won't read it, but anyway, it was on top of Lenny Bruce. So that's the Lenny Bruce thing. And I also found an Alan Watts at the Goodwill yesterday. Psychotherapy East and West by Alan Watts. When I was in high school there in the San Francisco Bay Area, I used to listen on public radio, Pacific Radio. I used to listen to Alan Watts. So when I'm always looking for his books. This is Alan Watts. This was published in 1961. I have Alan Watts, The Way of Zen. And then I have the book on Taboo Against Knowing Who You Are by Alan Watts. I also have another book downstairs by Alan Watts that I forgot to bring up here. I think it's called, I can't remember what it's called. I have another one downstairs. But anyway, I'm always looking for, I have other Alan Watts stuff downstairs, but these were on my desk downstairs, so I got that yesterday. Also, at Goodwill, I found this biography of Andrew Carnegie. He was born in the. He's a very famous, Carnegie Hall. It says here, Andrew Carnegie was whose lifetime spanned the era from the beginning of the Industrial Revolution to the First World War, was America's first modern titan. In his magnificent biography, celebrated historian David Nashaw brings to life this period of unprecedented transition from a time of self-made millionaires, scabs, strikes, and new kinds of philanthropy, to the fascinating rags to riches story of one of the most ionic business legends. I also have by David Nashaw. He wrote this biography on William Randolph, the life of William Randolph Hearst, the chief. And I also have this biography by David Nashaw, The Patriarch, The Remarkable Life and Turbulent Times of Joseph P. Kennedy. He was the father of Robert and John Kennedy. So I have those. Like I told you, when I get a biography, I like the biographies. I try to get all the biographies by a certain biographer. So I also picked up a novel by Jim Harrison, The Big Seven. And I also picked up yesterday Herodias, The Histories. I have another copy of this, which I can't find. A couple years ago, I read this book. It's by this travel writer. I can't pronounce his name. His name is Razar Rapkuski, and he wrote Travels with Herodias. It says here, from renowned journalist Risker Kapskuski comes this intimate account of his years in the field, traveling for the first time beyond the Iron Curtain to India, China, Ethiopia, and other exotic locales. In the 1950s, Kapskuski finished university in Poland and became a foreign correspondent, hoping to go abroad, perhaps to Czechoslovakia. Instead, he was sent to India, the first stop on his decade-long tour of the world that took him from Iran to El Salvador, from Angola to Armenia. Revisiting his memories of traveling the globe with a copy of Herodias, The Histories in tow, Kapskuski describes his awakening to the intricacies and idiosyncrasies of the new environments, and how the words of the Greek historiographer helped to shape his own view of the world, his own view of increasing globalized world. So yeah, I read that, and in this, he's always referring to Herodotus' histories. This guy, Kafka, he also wrote The Emperor, which is about, and he wrote also The Shah of Shahs and The Shadow of the Sun. He's an interesting writer. He writes, it's amazing, a travel writer. So I got those. I also picked up the New York Book Review of books. And this morning I was reading for my devotions. I mentioned this commentary on Romans, Epistle to the Romans, New International Greek Testament Commentary by Richard N. Longnecker. I also, this commentary is good to have when you're reading Romans. This is by Robert Jewett, Romans. This is in the Haramia series. It's kind of big, you know. It's kind of huge. It's kind of a clunker. It's about 1,126 pages. But if you want a good, solid commentary to read in the morning for devotions, and you really want to get into the Epistle of Romans, you can't go wrong with Robert Jewett's commentary and Richard Longnecker. And if you want something a little bit not so clunkier, this is a good commentary too. This is on Romans by Charles H. Talbert. This is the Smith and Hyatt's Bible commentary. So I read these in the morning for my devotions to lead me into a state of prayer and contemplation and lift up my heart and mind into divine realities when I'm reading the Bible. And right now, before I made this video, I was reading Gregory the Great, more reflections of the book of Job. So that's what I've been reading this morning to prepare myself for the eternal state of glory when we will reign with Christ forever, the new creation. So that's what's going on here. This is a Tuesday. I suppose I'll close to write some more in my diary and go into the afternoon hours, and tomorrow's a Wednesday. So I'm hoping you're having a good week, and I appreciate all the comments, and thank you for subscribing. I'm really been amazed at the response to my videos and the positive feedback, and you've just been really great and wonderful, all of you people. So until next time, bye.